Welcome back, guys. It's Kibla from the Brothers Geek Out podcast, and we have the wonderful guest Amira from Montreal, Canada, on the show today. How are you doing, sis?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm good. As I said, I had a really emotional night yesterday. I got to experience a Superman movie on the big screen at the Royal Albert Hall with a live orchestra, and it was just, I never got to see it in cinema. Well, I wasn't born then, but this is the first time they've done this and replayed the movie on the big screen again. So it was overwhelming last night.
No, I saw the video, looked amazing. I got the opportunity to once go to like a same event, but with like the music of Harry Potter in the back.
Oh, so awesome.
I understand what you feel. Like, it was just an amazing night.
You're going to be upset with me. I've never seen Harry Potter.
Well, yeah, that's okay. The train has passed now.
I will get on it one day, inshallah. I will get on it. So I was going to say, so Amira, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself in regards to the listeners that come on here. Are people that are going to start creating, are creatives, but finding it hard to get off their feet. And it's really more about inspiring them that this journey and the platforms that we have can take you places.
Yeah.
Like, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, yeah, that's like the hardest question to answer. Okay, so, Amira from Montreal, Canada. I wasn't sure like that if I had like a space or no in like the fandom community, because I'm a fan of a lot of things, but I didn't think that I had the knowledge or I had anything to bring to the table necessarily. But then I started feeling the need to have like a Muslim perspective, or at least push forward a good Muslim representation. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna live my love for the fandom, Marvel, like Lord of the Rings, that sort of thing. But at the same time, try to push forward like a positive, safe space for people who look like me, who don't necessarily feel included in the narrative. So if you ever want to start something, you have something unique. You don't know what it is, but you have it. It's going to take maybe time to discover it. And, you know, by making videos, you will discover yourself more. What's your style, what you want to do, that sort of thing. I mean, my first videos, oh my God, they were so cringy. But you get the hang of it after a couple of videos. And yeah, like, I think if you want to do something, you want to create like on social media, you should.
No, that's awesome. That's great. And it's the same sort of journey for me as well. When I jumped onto the social media bandwagon and it was like, let me try TikTok. Like, it really improved the podcast as well. I just didn't realize the reach it would have, because I'm thinking, I don't think there's like really. So my background, I was born in the UK in London. My parents are immigrants from Bangladesh, and you know, didn't think that there would be a market for something like that, as you were saying. And then my brother was like, let's just do this and push it out and see what happens. 4 years down the line, I've got to experience some great things, and then got to meet the amazing community online. It's really overwhelming, the amount of people I've met online recently with the podcast. And it's like, I didn't think I'd meet my kind, my people on here, and like getting to geek out on a different level, which is amazing.
No, I completely agree with you. And I mean, I had the amazing privilege of being like kind of helped by other creators. I mean, you're always intimidated when you talk to other creators. You're like, oh, they have more followers than me, they're not going to talk to me, whatever. Like, we have all like sort of biases against that sort of thing, but people are really sweet. I mean, you'll have that random comment here and there, but usually people are really encouraging. They want to engage with you. So I understand. Like, I started back in December of last year. And listen, I've met amazing people, got the opportunity to do this. I got the opportunity to interview. Like, this is great.
That's the one thing I told the listeners like recently was like, you know, social media has been around 10, 15 years now. And it's like, I don't think about numbers. You should never think about the numbers. You are doing it because you absolutely love and you have the passion in doing it. Once you start concentrating on numbers, your ego goes this way, numbers take you a different way. And then you stop having fun. And then people, go through different phases because of those numbers. So like my brother, he's quite strict with that. Don't think about the numbers. I know it's hard sometimes. Don't think about the numbers.
It's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, we're like kind of conditioned to look at the numbers, but I think when you start doing that, you stop enjoying the process, and
that's
that's
right.
the
That's right. That's right. That's right. All right, sis. I'm gonna deep dive a little bit about what was it? What was the first sort of like element of superheroism that kicked into your life?
oh super. I think I watched like I started the cartoons, but the DC ones, like
Mm-hmm.
Batman
Yep.
or like Justice League. But at
Yes.
that time, I did not know that there was like DC versus Marvel. That's for me was just a superhero. So that was that and the X-Men. You remember the old cartoon? That was
Hmm.
amazing. I was so invested. But then yeah, but I didn't watch like the movies, to be honest. I didn't even know that like the first Iron Man was coming. Like I think I joined the MCU with Thor. And I didn't even go
Ah.
to watch it. I didn't even go to watch it for the right reason. I went because I was like, oh, it's mythology. I like that sort of thing. I went, I was like, oh, Marvel, and I saw like a lot of fans like waiting for the post-credit scene, and I was like, okay, what is that? I googled it, and then down to the rabbit.
Started on your journey. Like I
Yeah.
started very late as well. I did see all of them from the beginning. My background is always going to be the comic books, and I didn't like the way it was represented on the big screen because my issue was with with reality and fantasy. And
Mm.
once you start mixing it, it gets muddy.
Yes.
And we've experienced that with recent events, which I'm not going to bring up, but I wouldn't mix real life things and religion with fantasy. I'd keep them
I agree.
separate completely. But you know, the movies were great, but I only didn't fall in love with them till after Avengers, and I was like, oh my god, okay, I know what they've done. Okay, it didn't wasn't comic book accurate, but they made it all connect, and then I
Yeah.
fell in love after that.
Yeah, no, the fact that the movie connected is also like yeah, that's like one of the most, it was one of the first things in the genre, kind of.
Yeah,
I mean, it had like Lord of the Ring and stuff like that, but the movies were so different, and then to see them all connect in one
that's right.
was like, I understand what you mean.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. I was like, oh my God, they've pulled that straight out the comic book. I think what Kevin Feige did was absolutely amazing. I know he's been wanting to do that since he started on the Spider-Man projects, but to
Yeah.
come around full circle with the way what he did with the MCU, like to this day, I still like, after watching Endgame, like I couldn't believe that we came to that point and it was like, oh my God, how have you done this to this grown man?
No, yeah, it's amazing. And I have like the MCU kind of book where they explain everything, the create his process,
Mm.
his ideas and stuff like that. And he does really plan 5 to 10 years in advance.
Wow.
Like it's crazy the amount of planning he has to go through. And like obviously sometimes we might see movies that we think don't connect to the other story, whatever, but everything has a place in the Kevin Feige universe.
No, that's right. That's right. And like I told like some of the listeners that like comment on YouTube, they're really scared about the way Phase 4 is going. And I keep telling them like, we took a massive risk in Phase 1 to introduce these characters.
Mm.
And now they can take risk on bringing in these new characters to see where they can head to with future plans, which is already planned out already. As you said, 10 years ahead. They've already jotted that down. Amira, which one is your favorite MCU out of everything?
Movie or hero or
okay, movie.
Oof. Okay, I actually did like a top 5 in my head a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite personally would be Infinity War / Endgame, just because it's like the ending of everything, and it's like the culmination of, what was it, 13 years?
That's right. Yeah.
It's amazing. For me, the emotion, the feelings, I cried so much during Endgame. It was like I was losing a family member. I was like, no. But
as you can see, that's my guy as well.
There you go.
That's my guy as well. So I felt the same. I was there. Like my brother was like, "You okay, bro?" I was like, "No, man, they shouldn't have done this."
I was not ready for it. I thought I was for sure ready for Cap. I was like, Cap is gonna pass away. I was like, I'm sure it's Cap. I meant to see it was. I was like, why are you doing this to me? But yeah, it was really fun. My favorite hero in the MCU, it's two actually.
Yeah.
For two.
Okay.
So for me, first Iron Man, just because I love, especially in the movies, because in the first movie he started as someone that represented everything I was against that, like against, you know, like he was the guy who sold, you know, weapons. He has no conscience. He didn't care. There was a lot of things that I was not comfortable with. And then the redemption arc, I am a sucker for redemption arc. I like the fact that you're trying to be a better person, but then you stumble on the way, and then you go 2 steps back, and then you try again. And it's just something, I think he's someone who realizes his limits and tries to move forward. And as a Muslim, I kind of connect with that sort of message.
Yes, definitely.
You know, you can always have a redemption. You can always move forward. You can try your best to be a better person. And Peter Parker, because I just love the guy who never, you know, abandon and tries always to does his best. And yeah, I think he sees the best in people, and I think that's what's beautiful with Peter Parker.
He's innocent, he's a kid, and you know, like as we saw, is it No Way Home, Far From Home?
Yes.
You know, when he trusted Mysterio and Quentin Beck, like you could see that innocence in him. It's like, you know what, this is not for me. I'm not an adult. This is not my world. You know, just hand those glasses straight over. Bless him, because all it takes is a little bit of somebody trusting him, and then he let go. But it's just the innocence in him as a kid, as a child, going through adult responsibilities, which is amazing. And I think Tom Holland has been absolutely brilliant. I think he's become one of my favorite Spider-Mans out of what we got from No Way Home. Oh my God, absolutely amazing. Such an emotional time. Like, I can't believe that we got that movie.
I know. I didn't even think it was possible. Like, it was crazy at the fact that we were able to see Toby and Andrew again, and Andrew got a bit of like
redemption.
Redemption. And I was like, oh my God, this is like all my childhood, like in one place.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It did. That was actually brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. So being on your journey at like where you currently are at the moment now, and this is going to be like what sort of powers would you what is your favorite powers? What powers would you have?
Oh, so I think I would love to have just the intelligence to create. I think that's the thing, because obviously, I mean, I would, as a fan of Harry Potter, I should probably have gone to like magic, but it's just fun. But I mean, Wanda's powers and Doctor Strange is really cool. But I like the fact that you can create from something. You have the ability to create, and you know. So I think, I don't know, super intelligence, if that's like possible. I know that Reed Richard is really smart and stuff like that. Jerry. So I would love to be part of like their group.
So I mean, again, ability to create, ability to be intelligent, you know, that's a good power. I mean, you've got, Professor Xavier as well. He learns off Cerebro, so that's another one. That's a good one. That's an interesting one, because a lot of people always on the show say, I want to fly, I want to be strong.
But I would be able to create that. I feel like if you have the ability to create, or like have the intelligence to create that sort of thing, right? And you can get the tools, I could make myself like fly. So it's a loophole.
It is definitely. So recently I just saw on your page, you've joined or been like, is it the Nerd Initiative?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
That's absolutely amazing. So that was that something that was working in the background, or it just kind of popped up?
So I stopped like TikTok during Ramadan, because I was like to focus on myself and, you know, my relationship and everything like that. So I did, you know, I stopped, but then when I came back just before like Miss Marvel, and I had one of my mutuals, Mr. Marvelite, who reached out to me. He's like, listen, we're creating this platform with a superhero talk. It's called Nerd Initiative. Would you like to be part of it? And the message really connected with what I want to bring to this platform, which was like a safe space to even disagree, debate, whatever, but there's no judgment. Let's say your favorite hero is Iron Man, mine is Peter Parker. We're not gonna have to like fight which one is the best hero, that sort of thing. So they told me to write a couple of articles, and I've been part of the amazing journey of the initiative, and we have like tons of creators that share the same message. They want to bring that safe space. So yeah, and I had an interview last week and I was able to share it with you.
Awesome. That is amazing. I can't wait. So, I mean, at the end of the show, I usually say, where can you find all your stuff? So we will do the links in the description, guys, later on, but make sure you check it out. So with your journey in the MCU and watching things on the big screen and everything like that, comic books.
Yes.
Do you remember your first comic book?
Actually, not too long ago, because I wasn't a reader of comic books. I mean, sorry. So, but like, I started like maybe this year because of Marvel Unlimited, like the app. Because to be honest with you, I wasn't sure where I would be able to go buy them, and I was like, okay, where do they sell them and stuff? But on the my first comic book, I think I decided to read everything about Secret Wars because I feel like something is coming maybe. So I decided to read everything about it. And yeah, it was really cool. Like the fact that sometimes you have to read other comics to understand the context and stuff that. It is still a learning journey for me, but it is so fun. Like it's really cool.
That's awesome. Now, welcome to the world of comic books. Now, this is where it gets deep, because this is how I was before the movies came out. And it was like, you start picking out on things and you're like, oh, I'm too critical. Yeah. But I can't be critical because I know how hard it is to take literature and present it onto the screen or TV or a radio show. It's such a process to go through, and so many changes happen along the way. As I know from Harry Potter, everything is not exactly the same as it is on the big screen. Lord of the Rings, the same thing. Hobbit. So you're like, the Hobbit, they stretched one book into like 3 movies, didn't they?
Yeah, and that was like, I guess they wanted to make the ending a huge thing, and they wanted to reflect the same trilogy type of vibe. But yeah, it was a lot, like a couple of pages for one movie. That was a lot.
God, that's brilliant. I can't believe they did that. But it's the industry that we're in, and it's the industry that continues. But comic books, oh my God, you're in for a treat, because, well, it could take you down, as you said, a deep rabbit hole, but there is so much great content when it comes to that. Yeah. And then when you start like putting it in connection with the movies, you're like, oh my God, the little Easter eggs and breakdowns that people do, they connect everything back to the comic books, which is absolutely amazing. I think his series by Tyrell, he's amazing at what he does, and he's had a wonderful journey recently as well. But having that knowledge of the comic books, and it's been absolutely amazing. I've been loving his breakdowns as well. He's been really good at it.
His intro, Easter eggs and details. Every time I'm like, okay, tell me everything I know. He's amazing.
No, he absolutely breaks it down, which is absolutely cool. It's absolutely cool. With that is, what would I mean, I know you've already told us about getting started on social media and stuff like that, but what was your motivation to say, you know what, let me share my words?
It's because I didn't necessarily see someone who looked like me on the app. Like I've been following a lot of people on TikTok, and I've been by watching like people of color talking about Marvel, I kind of been encouraged into trying it as well. Especially like when you see, I always thought it was not a community that I could really bring something to, right? I was like, okay, I don't know the comics, I just movies, I don't think I could bring anything. But then I think I saw Straw Hat Goofy, Terry Viti. I saw these people like really trying their best to bring their perspective, their narrative, and still loving the fandom and the community. I was like, okay, maybe I could bring something. And at first I started really like, I was shy. I would post one video and be like, run away from the app. but then, I was like, you know what? In a space where I think we're seeing more and more Muslims in Hollywood or movies and things like that, I want to be part of that. I want to be able to present a good, authentic representations of Muslim, right? So at least if it's not, I think it started already, people being, we've been hearing voices of people saying that this is correct, this is not correct, whatever. Being part of that, it's so empowering to be able to really see yourself on TV. And I would love one day for like young Muslims to be able to truly see something that represents them, that is not violent, a victim, or like someone that is hypersexualized. someone who goes to like get a coffee and just enjoy like, you know, their walk.
Yeah.
But is Muslim, like just that, right? So yeah, that's why.
One day. I've been working on characters for like the past 3 years. It's like a science fiction comedy, and it's actually based on my nephew. When he was born, it's a weird idea that it came out of nowhere. I saw him, and this idea kicked right into my head, and I was like, "That is so weird." But then it was like just having that Muslim Bangladeshi sort of background representation in a superhero character. His name's Idris, so the character's name is Idris, but it's a science fiction comedy about him traveling through different dimensions and portals. Yeah, it's a mad one, but I can't wait to kind of get that out. So I'm excited. So I've been working on that for like 3 years.
Please let me know. I would love to read it or whatever. Whenever
Yeah, no, definitely. Awesome. As soon as I've got the first draft ready, I will send it out to all creators to give me their thoughts and go from there. But I think, as you said, you're right. It's something that's really important to get out there at the moment. I know on recent events with a character that's come out recently, it's had mixed emotions, and it has, you know, thrown a lot of people off. It thrown myself off as well. My brother was like, "Oh, kid." My brother, he didn't look into it as deep as I would, but I was like, because I'm so connected to the religion, it's like, oh,
yeah, me too.
How did they continue to do this, and how did they go with that? But my brother thinks it's a ruse, you know, Marvel are gonna change it up on us maybe. But I was like, man, they absolutely really didn't have to do it in that format. You know, if they had people on the set, they could have questioned this. I just don't feel like it was questioned enough for them to put that up on there.
No, I agree with you. And I kind of agree with your brother. I do think that it's a red herring. It's just the usage of it is so, I don't think it's properly done. Therefore, I get annoyed by it. And the only question that I have is why? Like, why did they feel like that was the best, like, kind of ruse to use? I don't know. Yeah. So, I mean, feeling about it is just, I think it could have been better. I love the representation in the TV show. They've done an amazing job representing like the Pakistani culture and everything. But yeah, that little thing really annoyed me. But yeah. No,
I totally agree with you on that. I remember seeing your video and I was like, you know what, sis is right, because that's the one part of that's why I kept on saying you can't mix real world stuff into fantasy, because then it gets muddy, it gets confusing. And it takes away the enjoyment that when I read a comic book, I know that, well, there are some comic. Yeah, it's just separate. It's got nothing to do with my religion or real world issues. I can get away for a bit. It's my time to get away. So when real world issues start kicking into like my fantasy that I want to get away from, that's like really hard. And that's why I love the movies, but the movies of like the Phase 4 has really touched home, I think, you know, you had Falcon and Winter Soldier, Captain America being black, you know, that hit real world issues at that time. So it's like they're starting to merge into reality.
And I think when it's a political issue or a social issue, it's not necessarily a problem. I think we should actually have media that talk about it. I still think of Sam's speech at the end of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it gives me chills because it means so much to him, it means so much to a community, but it also something that kind of applies to us, applies to a lot of other minorities. So it's just, that speech was amazing. So yes, I like when it's that, but usually I think religion is different. It's like it's something that is so dear to so many people, and there's a huge community that lives with that religion every day, right? So like you have to be kind of careful and respectful. I don't necessarily think that they did it on purpose. I just think that it was maybe a mistake or something. But still, I think, I mean, Stanley always wanted the comics or Marvel to represent the world, right, that we live in. I think that's, at least from what I know, my little knowledge is that's what he wanted. And I think Phase 4 is doing that beautifully, right? Yeah. So yeah, although like there are little hiccups here and there, I still enjoy it. I still like it, and can't wait to see the other movies.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you said the quote exactly right. That was Stanley's vision, you know, to see the world outside. So that was absolutely amazing. What did you think of Moon Knight?
I liked Moon Knight, it was a bit weird for me to see like the sky move and change in the middle of Egypt. I was like, what's happening? I thought about it for a few seconds. I was like, if I was a Muslim in that space, I think I would just, God, I'll be like, this is the end. That's it. This is what we're waiting for. But usually what I do when it's like other deities or mythology, whatever, for me, I disconnect it completely from my reality. So I don't, for me, I was like, okay, it's a myth. That's it. I don't think of it more than that. But Moon Knight, Layla, I loved Layla. She was an amazing character. I loved the story with Mark and Steven. I think we were like kind of led in the story one episode at a time. And what is that we discovered things at the same pace as Steven, which is really fun. And I remember, like, you know, spoiler, I guess, for those who didn't watch it, but at the end, when you see, you know, the third coffin, and you're like, just open it, just open it, just open it. And then they don't. And you're like, okay, maybe there's a season 2, maybe there's something else. It is exciting. I wasn't sure how to feel about like the TV show format to introduce new heroes, because maybe they need their own movies, right? Or something like that. But I like it for now. Like, it's really cool. You get to see them, to know them better than a movie, I think. So it
gives them space to breathe, because like, if you remember the original phase 1, you know, you got Cap, Thor, Iron Man. They got their 3 movies, so it gives them 6 hours of screen time if you kind of see it in that reality. So we're getting the same sort of format in this, but it's a continued story. I love what they did with Layla. The Scarlet Scarab originally was a dude, but she looked so epic. It was unbelievable. Like, you know, I remember my daughter, because I kept on watching that scene, because I was like, it's a brilliant fight scene and she looked awesome. My wife was saying, it reminds me of Wonder Woman, but I was like, nah, this was much better than Wonder Woman, which was absolutely brilliant.
No, I agree with you. And especially when that little girl told her, are you an Egyptian superhero? And it got that feeling. Like, I feel like the creator, the director is also Egyptian. So he wanted to like kind of give a love letter to his country, right?
That's right.
And it felt so beautiful when you put people who are from that background, that they try to push forward their representation. It's so well done. To just have that little moment of like a little girl saying, are you an Egyptian superhero? I said, yes. It was amazing.
It is a great scene. Absolutely awesome. All right, Amira, I'm not going to keep you on for long. I just want to say massive thank you for joining us today. Like, it's always nice to get somebody else's perspective and somebody else's journey as well, which is absolutely amazing. Where can the listeners and watchers of this find you? And they'll be in the description, guys.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. This is really humbling, but thank you so much. This is really awesome. Where can they find me? On TikTok. I have a link with my Linktree, and then you will see I have a link of my IG, my Twitter, all of that. But I'm mostly always on TikTok. So if you want to follow me, please go there.
Links in the description, guys. Make sure you go check it out. Make sure you go follow her, show the love, and check out the work she's doing. She's been on an amazing journey the past couple of months, and her videos are great. They're great breakdowns as well. But I am very grateful to have her on the show. It's always amazing to geek out with a fellow TikToker and just, you know, find out more about how their journey started and how it can like kind of motivate you guys as well. Because remember, these platforms are here, they're free, and it's there to try and just give it a go. Because honest truth, if I didn't try this a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have known what to do. And then I realized the sort of community that you can connect with, which has been absolutely amazing. So make sure you check out Amira's work. It's absolutely amazing. What can I say, guys? Just to let you know, this will be available on all streaming platforms. So it's not just going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, Anchor, and there's a whole load more because it distributes it everywhere. But make sure you follow us on the Brothers Geek Out podcast on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, guys. But a massive thank you again, Amira, for being on the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome.